Hello everyone, today I will be explaining how to get good at poker for beginners using this website called Poker Now, which is a website where you can develop your poker skills for free. I finished on this website with top 25 profit of all users in 2024, and I'll explain all the different concepts of poker that you will need to know to be able to play poker effectively and learn poker quickly as a beginner. So in this video, I'm assuming that you already know the rules of poker, and I will try and explain different things while playing for you to understand. So here you can see that we're playing 5,000 to 10,000 with 150 blinds. So basically 100 is the big blind, 50 is the small blind. So now I'll explain the first thing, which is positions. And position is extremely important in poker because it allows you to decide what kind of range you'll be playing with. So the most important positions you need to remember are the dealer, the small blind, the big blind, and then under the gun, and then the one that's before the dealer is gonna be the cutoff, hijack. The other ones don't really matter. The three or the four that you need to remember are big blind, small blind, dealer, and under the gun, and then the rest are going to be quite around the same depending on the number of players you have. But basically, this has a huge impact because it depends on the range that you'll be able to play with. Because the dealer is going to be the last to act, so he can evaluate what the other players do first after the flop. And the under the gun is the one who has nothing invested into the pot and is the first to act, because the big blinds are the first to act, but they already have something invested into the pot. So if the raise is only, for example, one big blind based on pot odds, which I will also explain, it might not make sense for the big blind to fold depending on what card. So they can play with a greater range of cards, hands. But obviously a weak hand like the one I had just now, you can see you would fold. And so the best position you would want to have is the button, and this will be where you're going to make most of your wins. And another topic I want to mention is player profiling, and this is extremely important in poker. So here you can see most of the time in poker, I would say around 90% of the time you're going to be folding. So it's extremely important that even when you do fold, if you want to win, especially if you're playing offline, that you monitor if the other players have certain tells, if they bet and act a certain way, if they have certain cards, how much they bet, if they're bluffing, how much the pot size, and yeah. And then also another thing is the poker mindset. As a poker player, you have to think not with your emotions, not wanting to gamble unless you obviously just want to gamble. You need to think about wanting to win as much money as possible. And that's why you need to think about, first of all, variance, and that's if the less you play, the greater chance there is that there's a deviation or variance from what your expected outcome is. This is also like a huge concept in math and probability, is variance. But the more trials or the more games, the more hands you participate in, the more likely that you will get your expected outcomes based on the whatever bets you make. But obviously, if you play a small amount of games, there's a chance that you might really get lucky on the river a few times, even with bad calls, bad plays. And another thing is tilt, and this is when you make a loss in one hand and you get really emotional and you start playing aggressively. And this is absolutely how beginners lose their money. This is absolutely what you should definitely avoid. Oh, I would have had a flusher. And when you have tilt, I would advise you to always try and calm down, try and sit out of your hands, go drink some water, or maybe leave it for the day if you're making loss in the day. It's just not your day. Just leave. You don't need to play with emotions. It's not going to make you any better. And then there are obviously the different stages of a poker game: pre-flop, flop, turn, and the river. On the pre-flop, this is when the bets are made. You're betting and looking. You're sizing your bet based completely on whatever hands you have. Whereas on the flop, there are the three community cards, and there are draws. There are draws that can like come up. So you want to see the board texture. How likely is it that you have the nuts, like the best hand in the possible scenario? So that's what you want to observe on the flop. And then another topic I wanted to address was pot odds. You'll see all of this in action, but the pot odds is basically the size of the pot, or how much you need to, the size of the pot, like, so for example right now it's 1550, the size of the pot versus the cost of whatever call you're contemplating of. So maybe if you're chasing a draw, if you have like a mid hand, it's not the worst, it's not the best. You can think about it in terms of pot odds. And whatever equity you have. So for example, if you're contemplating a hard call on the flop, whatever equity you have by making the call on the flop. And you need at least a percentage of the pot that you're calling to break even. I'll show you this. And going back to that poker mindset, it is I forgot to mention, but it's absolutely important for you to get the mindset that inactivity is not weakness, and patience is instead strength. And then on the turn, this is where you can see if your draws are getting realized or if they're not, because on the flop you can still bet with a maybe middle card, maybe with like a draw, a straight, or a flush draw, and that's basically like a semi bluff, which is you don't have anything, but you have draws, you have chances of getting something stronger. And then on the turn and the river, then you know whether you actually hit it or not. Okay, this is a playable hand, not in a good position. I've been sitting out for a bit, so I'm gonna bet a bit. This is obviously not a strong card, so I don't want to bet too much. You can see he's won a lot today, but he doesn't. Okay, that one's definitely a fold. But here, this player he's won a lot today, but he doesn't have a huge stack. This means he is more likely an aggressive and emotional player. So even such a huge bet, even such a huge raise from him, he most likely does not even have that strong. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm wrong. Okay, another thing is blockers here. For example, aces, if I was in the hand, if we would have played that hand normally, 10 jack, queen, king, there's obviously the straight draw, but he has the aces, so he has blockers, so there are only two aces left that are not there, so he can bet a bit higher with more certainty that I do not have that I won't achieve a straight, if you know what I'm talking about. And 6-8 of diamonds, this is more of like a suited connector. This is one of those cards I was talking about that you can bet. You can bet if you're in the dealer position. I was in under the gun +2 or something, because you can get a straight and you can get a flush, and you can see if I was in this, I would have had both draws on and it would have failed, but I would have had both draws on, and this is why suited connectors are extremely powerful. And there's obviously also a difference in behavior based on the stack that you have. So if you have a large stack, like for example this player here, you could play more hands, you could play more aggressive, whereas I'm entering here with a small stack, then I'm going to I have to play with a more resistance, not with as much leniency as this player with a a bigger stack right now. And he can obviously make more bluffs. And in bluffs, it's extremely important uh, about what you could be representing. So, a good bluff is a bluff where your whole story matches. So, maybe if you went aggressive, if you went like semi aggressive at the beginning, and then there's a possible, I mean, it's hard to explain without the cards being there, but if you go semi aggressive at the beginning, and there is, for example, queen, king, ace, then it could be like jack. You could have jack 10 suited, and maybe you have a straight that beats his, I don't know, three of a kind or something. And it's important that there's consistency in the story you're telling, and you're not just going aggressive regardless of what comes on the turn, what comes on the river. If the story that you're telling does not match and you just keep going aggressive, then people know you're more likely bluffing. I hope I can get a playable hand soon. And another topic that pros like to do is slow playing. And this is when you have a strong card, maybe the nuts, and you don't bet as much so that you tell a different story and the others go more aggressive. And often this doesn't work. I mean, it depends on what level you're playing at, but sometimes this doesn't work because it depends on whatever player you're going up against on the turn or the river. If you know that player, which comes back to player profiling, if you know that player is aggressive, then maybe you can slow play and he'll try and bluff you. But if he's a reasonable player, then there's a chance you might not get the value for your hand, which you should try and get, because the river at the end, you should try and be getting as much value for your hand if you do have the strongest hand. And another thing about slow playing is that you allow your opponents to develop something which they don't have, which is why if you have a strong hand or something like aces or something, um, on the like pre-flop, I would always, I would always go extremely aggressive pre-flop with aces, so that less people enter the hand, and less people can get something like a straight or a flush, because the more people enter, the more, like, it's basically guaranteed. If you just call us with aces, it's basically guaranteed that someone's gonna have a straight by the time you enter pre-flop if no one raises. Okay, this is a playable hand. Obviously small blind, not as good. I'm not gonna go that aggressive here. Obviously, I mean, it's not a good position. I think do quite a lenient. No, that's not good. This is not good flop. Just fold here. Could have kings, ace king. Ace jack's an extremely bad card because you're beaten by ace queen, ace king, which is what people tend to go with when they're going aggressive pre-flop. Opala. Clearly I need to player profile more because okay, I'm in a dealer position here, and this allows me to evaluate how big the bet is pre-flop. So for example, this bet is way too big for me, and I'll already fold this based on my stack size to go enter with 10-7 offsuit. And it's important that here, even if you have top pair, as a beginner, beginners often make the mistake of thinking if they have top pair on a dry board, they're good, but they're not actually good because the second hand that's supporting them, for example, here would be a 7. It would still be beaten by any hand better, 10-8, 10, or 10-9, here would be 2 pair. But ace-10, whatever, it would even be better. You see, it would be beaten by 10-8. So this is what you obviously have to consider. I'm not getting any playable hands here. But this is one of the most important things I wanted to say in poker. In poker, folding is one of the most, if not the most important thing, because most hands should end up folded and not make it to the river if you're a good poker player, because you should choose the battles which you play, if that makes sense. Choose the battles that you know you can win. And obviously, these tips that I'm giving you, like folding a lot, and I mean, a lot of these things apply for all of them, but it's more applies for cash games, because in tournaments the blinds increase, so you might need to go a bit more aggressive and go with a slightly more lenient hand. I was thinking about bluffing there, but I don't think it's a good idea to bluff in this position, because there's a lot of people and most likely someone is going to be calling. Um, it was a raise of three big blinds, so someone is most likely calling that with a queen, a king. They're most likely just slow playing it. He's gonna bluff here. Yeah, called it. But here, especially as a short stack, it's not worth it to bluff. A7, yeah, he had it on the river. Maybe I could have bluffed, but especially as a short stack, um, sometimes it's not worth it. Some numbers I also wanted to give you. Um, if you have a straight draw by the flop, you have an inside straight draw, which is a good shot by the flop. The chances of you hitting it, getting the straight by the river, are 16.5%. So you should be calling a 5-1 pot odd raise if you're contemplating a call, and an open-ended straight is 31.5% chance. And one thing to mention as well, I like to sit myself when I'm entering a table after the biggest stack if possible, because then I can see what they do first. A lot of the strong players are folded, and guessing most people will limp. That's why I want to see the flop, especially in dealer position. Usually I would not call this, but there hasn't been a lot of action. I don't think it would have gone. They would have limped. So let's just clean off this pot. I don't think anyone's going to call this. Kirsch plays with a very, very wide range. Yeah. Ace queen. Yeah. I don't know why he would have limped this though. I think I definitely misjudged the situation, but after betting, I realized my mistake that he did with the check raise, that he did actually have a hand, and that's why it's a good decision for me to fold. Open-ended straight draw, weak flush draw. I think that's one where I need to fold, because my 6 of clubs is just too weak to play against any ace whatever of clubs. This one's callable. The flops haven't been going my way. It wasn't a strong raise, but Barmom and you have a huge stack. You can definitely aggress this. A suited connector is a good card to upset strong hands, depending on the flop. I was thinking about raising. I'm not in a good position though. Again, my stack is dying down, but it's important to stay patient. I'm losing a lot of money pre-flop. It's important to, and on the flop, it's important to stay patient. You will get your one win. Good hand to play strong on. This is one where I have pairs, so I want to eliminate every other possible competitor. So this one, especially given my stack, I'll probably shove here because I have a strong hand. Okay, this is not bad flop for me. Uh-oh. I think this might be out for me. Pair of tens. Yep. It was obviously very bad of me to enter with the minimum stack, and I just couldn't make up the game. But I think overall, how I played so far, it's not been bad. I haven't gone emotional. The cards just haven't gone my way. I think it's important to practice on such a site like Poker Now, where you are not using real money and where it is still online, that you get more experience playing lots of hands and it goes quick. So their 3-bet here is not that strong. I'm playing a king here, and a king would bet further. I think it does scare them off. Honestly, I don't think I can bluff this. Okay, evaluation of that hand. That was a tiltful hand. Obviously, king 7. I feel like, no. The problem there, that was definitely a bluff go wrong. The problem there was, I mean, I already said, I don't think I could represent because there was another 6. That was not what I was representing. Obviously he was fully in the right. He was fully in the right to call that. Playing this so aggressive, and I feel like some people will call. Because now I'm playing the profile. I might obviously be tilted here, so I might be playing with a wider range here. He thinks I'm tilted here. It's a difficult fold. It might be a bluff, but I don't think I have any. 7.85% chance. Oh, this is a hard one. I have top pair here. I need to call it. Poor kicker. Obviously, anyone with any spade is gonna call this here. Oh, this is such a difficult fold. I mean, obviously, even though the 9 comes out, this is the best possible scenario for any other pair. Getting good equity for 3 of a kind. I'm thinking whether to value bet. He might be going for the check raise here, or he was just bluffing the whole time. I think I'll go for 1,000. I'll go for the value bet. I hope that he does not raise me. This is a hard one. Okay. I wonder what he had. 2 pair maybe. 10s. Okay. 10s. Oh, this is a great hand. This one to play aggressive. This one's with confidence. That's such a... Honestly. This hard, I'm thinking... This is a great hand. And honestly, I would not be... If he has ace king, I might be cooked. I think we right twice. Safety. Kings. That's not good for me. I need the ace. Someone probably... Oh. Get the blocker. I think that... Oh, that one's frustrating. That was the wrong call. I was thinking maybe 10s and jacks. 10s or jacks. That is frustrating. Yeah, I've actually thought queens or something. Some days you just lose, and that's okay. The thing you need to remember is that you should minimize the loss. Suited connector. Just gonna clean up the pot. Honestly, I'm not in a good position to call ace jack. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the inside straight draw I was talking about. By the flop, I was 16.5% chance. And this is what I was talking about, semi-bluff in action. And it's relatively dry, so there is really only people with queen. Theoretically, someone could have queen 10. I mean, I've already bet 2,000, so I don't need to bet the rest of this. It's the ace. And the first one. Okay, this one was a bit lucky. My stack was way too small for the strong bet I was making, like the semi-bluff. So I could definitely develop something. And I forgot to mention as well, but obviously on the flop, if you make a aggressive bet, you need to some people choose to do a C bet, which is a... Oh yeah, that's extremely lucky. A continuation bet. C bet is basically a continuation bet that basically you don't try and show that you have nothing even if you don't hit it. on the flop. But obviously, as I mentioned, you know, some of these there is a variance in play here. There is variance in play here because I'm not playing that many hands. But over a long period of time, if you play poker for a long period of time, if you get good at it, if you start playing for money, whether online or offline, like locally, live, the variance will reduce, and ultimately, your whatever calls you're making, the expected outcome will eventually be achieved. This one, I like, honestly, it's a low pair. I like to go against the 1v1 because anything except if they have a higher pair, I have greater than 50% chance. Slightly greater. Threes maybe have, like, here I have a 53% chance of winning. And now I just need to hold. So, okay. So I did win there. Um, so especially if it's one-on-one against something that's not a higher pair, you do have slightly more than 50%. So the expected outcome is that you still do win slightly on those. It's close to a coin flip, but these marginal statistics do take effect in the long term. So you can do that if it's a one-on-one, like in that situation. As you've seen so far at this table, these guys call a lot, so you're likely not going to be trying to bluff here. He has a huge stack, so we're just going to call him. He is quite an aggressive player. He could definitely have tens, jacks. I block queens, king. I block the queens and kings. He could have aces. Ace something, which beats me as well. I think I'm gonna fold this one. We'll see what he has, but I don't think I'm good. He has ace with a strong kicker probably, or aces. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely a good fold there. Calling pre-flop, I mean, I think it was okay. He could have definitely had jacks, queens. It was definitely a good fold. Maybe I could have even folded on the flop with the raise that he had. But latest by, sorry, I could have folded pre-flop with the raise that he had, with the re-raise that he had. But latest by the flop, you should definitely be folding there with king, queen, ace 7 suited. This is obviously very strong for flush, and I'm on the big blind, so I'm gonna aggress this. This is a very aggressive bet. I could be playing aces, king. Ooh, the 2 pair. No, I think I need to value bet this somehow. Especially after the 7, it makes it seem like it's a bluff. It's 1/3 of the pot. If he has 4s, 3s, or 2-5, whatever, or 5-6 as well. But I think I have a better card here. I think he has ace with a kicker. I don't think he has a 2 pair. So I'm gonna value bet this here. He folds. Obviously I want value for my money there. Okay, ace queen in dealer position. This is definitely a card that we can aggress. Ace, queen in dealer position. And especially with how I've played so far, I could be having a wider range at dealer position and not something even remotely close to as strong as ace queen. I could be in with a suited connector. And obviously, if he folded the last one against me. So there's also this possibility again that I could be bluffing. You don't want too many hands in the pot, as sometimes ace high could still be good if in a two-way pot. Like with this relatively dry board, you could obviously have suited connectors here. Could have a straight draw or could have a random low pair. Don't think he has anything. I think I need to C bet here, continuation bet. So I'm gonna bet exactly what I did. Gonna call. Gonna do a continuation bet again because I don't think he has anything better. Honestly, I don't think he has a strong card, especially with how long he's taken to call. I'm back here on a second day because I don't think I showed you enough content and enough demonstration of the concepts I talked about. So I'm here showing again, and that's why you see that my stack is reset and everything. And now the players are slightly different. So yesterday, I think we were down like 12,000 or something. So let's hope to make it back today. Okay, we start off with a good card, or not a good card, but not a bad card either. Jack, king, offsuit in the dealer +1 position. I think I'm gonna attack this. Because obviously they could have called an ace, checked all the way. I think we need to do a c-bet. Just, I could have obviously raised with the ace-king, so I think I need to do the continuation bet here. Ooh, now this is an extremely wet board. I don't want to scare off the flush draws. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's hard. I think I'm just gonna check this. Comes in. Oh, should I value bet? No, no, I'm beaten by everything. I don't think I can bluff them off here. Someone's definitely so slow playing. Ooh, no. Yeah, that was what I was scared of. If the ace I could have scared away, but okay. Well, got a bit lucky there, but now we're up 7,000 first hand directly. It was obviously the decision whether we wanted to value bet there. That was a very wet board, and obviously there were a lot of draws. The straight draw could have hit. The flush draw of spades could have hit, and I don't know what else. Who would have been there without either of those calling until the end? So I don't think it was a good idea to value bet there because you, especially with only a two pair. Big blind here, 4-7 off. Only three big blinds. I think this could be a lenient call, but this is borderline. Like depending on some days I would fold this, and especially against as I mentioned player profiling, DTWO does like to go quite aggressive. Yeah, I don't think it's just too much to call. Like I had the feeling that he was bluffing, but just too much to call just to see. It's way over. It's almost the whole pot, so it's not worth it for me. We have the 6-7. This is not a bad position, especially bad hand, especially going four way. It's a connector. Could hit straights. I mean, we obviously gonna have to do c bet. It's half pot. The one thing, I mean, we could definitely be playing queen with that sort of. So the one thing we do not want him to have is the queen. He has ace high, of course. He's going to draw. I didn't want to do a bluff on the river in case he did have the queen. That would have been one of the hands you've called with. Queen something suited. Barmom does like to make a lenient call. Ace high could be good here. Calls. Makes it fold. Yeah, in those situations, this player is quite lenient with his calls. So I think you just have to aggress there and push a bit. This is a good hand. Low key. Unless they have a higher pair, which I don't think with the 600 bet. Let's see what they have. I think I'm gonna go home. Bar mom is extremely lenient. No. Yeah, we've lost a hand probably. Like, you should probably avoid limping. Unless you're big blind and goes around to you. Nothing happens. Avoiding limping is the way to go. Okay, top pair weak kicker. But considering we're in a small table. Okay. We're just gonna call this here. Could have a better kicker than me. Could have ace king. Just gonna check it back. Yeah, I had the feeling it was in a smaller table. The chance that he had a better ace, ace king or ace queen, not that high. Very stronger hand. Ooh, okay. Now this is what I was talking about with the inside straight draw. From here, you want to look at the pot odds. 16.5% chance of hitting it. So now the pot size is 1,950. You want at least 5-1 odds of calling it equally. And since Barmom folds, the odds are not 5-1. It's more like 3-1. So I'm gonna fold this here. Obviously, you do also need to consider. Okay, obviously I hit the straight. You do also need to consider the queen pair. So maybe 4-1 odds were okay but obviously I do know that I have the nuts here, but most of the time I won't hit it. He would have had me dominated most of the time. But this is what I'm talking about. It's the variance. If you look at individual hands, like if you only look at the outcome, you will say, okay, maybe I should have played that because I would have won it. But that's why in poker you need to be not results oriented, but process oriented. And I went through the right process there. Looking at the pot odds, looking at the bet sizing. If it was a smaller bet sizing, I obviously would have called. But looking at the bet sizing, it wasn't worth it for me. I might just... I like to go all in with these hands. But yeah. Do have him dominated. I didn't know it, but I was blocking his straight draw as well. So he really only had the ace. So I had him dominated. But even against an ace king or something that's not a pair, I would have still been slightly over 50%, 52, 53. It would have been close to a coin flip, but I would have still had the straight edge. So process oriented wise, after a lot of times that you play those hands, you will end up winning. Some players don't like to take those risks. They like to play and then maybe you can win with more people in the hand. Okay, this is another inside straight, 16.5%. Since I was going to make the 3-bet pre-flop, I had the c-bet, and now they've raised it by 3 big blinds. That thing been folded for me. Because there's the flush draw as well. Yeah, obviously the flush draw hit. So, in poker, it's not necessarily about winning every single day, as I've mentioned so many times about the variance, but yesterday, for example, I lost 12k, 13k or something, and today I'm up 20k. So it's about having the right process, and over time, it'll show. Straight flush! Connector, cutoff position. I think we can call this. It was raised by 5 big blinds. Ooh, I like this card. Jack 10. A suited, obviously chance for a straight, chance for a flush. It's a suited connector, and I'm not in a bad position under the cutoff +1. I think I'm definitely going to aggress this. You don't want too many people in the hand. Okay, top pair here. We still have to beware for the queen 10, jack 10, ace 10, and can make white 1/3 pot a bet because they know I'm going to c-bet anyways. So me betting here, a backdoor to the flush as well. Me betting here doesn't mean anything. Oh, okay. Now there's the flush draw. He's not gonna fold if I'm thinking about putting him all in, but he's definitely not gonna fold because he has more than half his pot. So I'm just gonna call there. 2 pair. Oh, it does not turn out well for me. Ace king definitely beats me here. Even if he has nothing, he might try and bluff anyways. And we obviously already have a lot of money in the pot. We're not gonna, yeah, I don't think he has anything. Ace queen, yeah, that did not end up well for him. That was one I wasn't comfortable with as well, but on the flop and on the turn, obviously we still had the semi bluff capability, because we did have the one of the better hands on the flop. Obviously we were beaten by king 10, queen 10, ace 10, and then on the turn obviously any queen beats us, but backdoor to the flush draw. We also need to remember that we are the biggest stack. Holy crap, full house of 7 deuce. We are the biggest stack, so in those situations, as the biggest stack, you can sometimes make the more lenient call. I'm up around 35,000 today, by the way. It's one where maybe you can see. Overpair, backdoor to straight. There's obviously a flush draw on the table as well. 1/3 pot. Chance of us hitting. I might even re-raise this, especially as the offsuit though. Especially as the biggest stack, I do have the capacity to aggress with these type of hands. And I do hit top pair. I think I do need to c-bet here. 1/3 pot does give me good odds. Okay, I'm playing ace something suited here. And now I've hit the flush. I'm playing getting value here. Honestly, I don't think if he does have the flush and he's just slow playing, I don't think I can bet him off this. And if he doesn't, then I win anyways. Jack is obviously not a good kicker. But I think I can check this. I think that's the best opportunity for me here. 50k. Okay, maybe I could have value bet, but on the wet, and obviously with Jack as a kicker, it's not that great of a hand. And you can see why being aggressive pre-flop is worth it, because if he would have entered 28th duck, this player here, he would have entered because he would have hit the flush, but because I was aggressive pre-flop, he chose not to enter with his hand. I think this is one I need to fold here. Because no, I'll just call. I'm big stack. It's not a bad hand. Could just be checking, see. Yeah. Okay, I'm playing ace queen, king queen. Definitely play as if you hit something here. Okay, that would not be a good card for me. Any ace high beats me, but I don't think with two people in the pot, it's not worth it. And especially I think someone's slow playing here. I think someone does have jack. Ace queen. Okay. But I was playing a queen there, and that's why I bet. But then obviously when the jack hit, I couldn't bluff anymore because otherwise I would have bet on the flop. Using my big stack power as well now. He's aggressing this now. But he does have a very, very wide range. He is acting very fish-like today. I'm gonna fold this, but I don't think he has anything. It's just not worth it for me though. Because even if he has ace high, he still beats me. So obviously, the first time that you do play live with a lot of money, or with any money, or even online, when you do get into the bigger tables, there is sometimes nervousness. You don't know what to do, and maybe you can, when it's your first time, can get a bit scared. Like you fold hands that you shouldn't. You're not playing hands because you don't go for any bluffs. But I think over time, with experience, you can learn, get used to playing with money, with higher stakes, and it's just something that you learn with experience. Because you can't learn everything with theory. Obviously, you have odds on your side. You can look at betting odds. You can play everything. You can know everything perfect to the book, but you just need to know this experience, have this experience to be able to implement it. And sometimes, especially if you're playing locally live, there are certain tells that certain players have tells. Everyone has tells. Daniel Negreanu is one of these players who likes to observe other players' tells, and he's really good at it. And that is obviously something that you can develop and see for yourself live. So whereas if you're online, you have to rely more on theory. Obviously, you can observe to see what other players bet with, what other players play, what other players fold. But I'm gonna fold this. Yeah, I would definitely play it on the button, but we're not big stack anymore. So, and under the gun, queen eight offsuit is not very good. At the end, you just need to develop a bit of experience. I think I can just clean it up. I'll bet the whole pot, and I think everyone else is gonna fold. Oh no. Obviously, I could have the flush here. And if he does call this one, there's no point in bluffing. Because then he might have the straight 10 high, but something it's not something that if he does call on the turn, he wouldn't call on the river. And that's the mistake that you make by limping with a strong hand, that you lose the hands that you're not supposed to. Because if you do limp, even if you have aces or something pre-flop, if you do limp and you make it a family pot, everyone's in there. Aces at the end of the day are just a pair. So if you do limp, that the chance of someone else having a card better than you is basically really high. That's why I heavily advise against limping with a strong hand. This is one that experts would recommend not to play, especially in such a under the gun +1, because even if you get the straight from the 10 jack queen, and especially it's on opposite end, even if you do get the straight there, the ace king straight does beat you, and especially if you do get a king pair, you are still beaten with a better kicker. Let's see what he does. 50. I think I can re-raise this here. Top pair. Let's call this here. Could have a queen as well. I don't think he definitely does not have a flush. I think that I can definitely play a flush here at the pot. Because I do want to scare ace king away. Ooh, this is a knock. I do definitely want to scare ace king away here. Queen king under the gun. This one's also one there. And under the gun with such a huge raise, I'm playing aces, kings here. I don't have that, but queen king suited is also pretty good. Under the gun with such a huge raise. Ooh, the straight flush draw. This is one where I'm definitely with nothing concrete, but with the straight and the flush draw. It's inside straight though, because we only have one out, and then the flush draw. I mean, okay. If he's the one to call, it's not like he's gonna fold this now. I'm just gonna run it twice. Ace 8. Okay. I don't think that was a very good call for him. Hit the flush on the river first time. Don't hit it on the second time. You split the pot. Okay. I mean, obviously, when I made the raise, it was for the other people on the table. The raise covered most of his stack, so obviously he was gonna call after having called the initial raise on the flop. So you either have it or you don't. And between running it twice and not running it twice, it's usually just a personal decision. Some players love to always run it twice just to avoid negative variance, and some players just always like to run it once. I personally like to switch running it twice when I feel like I might not be ahead, like maybe it was a semi bluff, and running it once when I know I am ahead, and when I do have the larger stack. So that's definitely also another factor that comes into play. We are the biggest stack again now at the table. Okay, 10 jack suited on the dealer position. This is one 10 jack suited is one that I absolutely like to play. The suited connector, and especially on the dealer position. I am playing the strong pair here. I'm gonna make this seem like a value bet, and he does fold that. So the value in betting not that high, not that low there, is that I make it seem like a value bet. I make it seem like I do have something. I'm just trying to get value off it, and ultimately that scares him away, and that seems more plausible than if I bet the whole pot. And I bet aggressively, it just seems like a bluff. Ace 8 suited. Ooh, great flop. Great flop for me. I do need to do C bet. A bit less than half pot. I think that's what. I am gonna play a stronger hand than I do have, being in the middle position. Because if something which goes well for the suited connector hits, then I do have the hand. If something better hits, they think that I do hit because I'm representing those cards. Okay. I'm gonna see that here. I wonder what he has. Okay. Maybe ace king, ace queen. 9 queen. Off under the gun. It's not a good one to play. But the big stack is gone. The other big stack is gone. So I think I can maybe limp this and see how it's raised. I think I do just need to call. Top pair. Yeah, this is not good straight though. Ace king definitely beats me, but I don't know why it would go around limped with ace king. Opala. This is not. I'm pretty sure I'm not good here. If he shoves, I might just check this round if I do. Okay. If I do have it, then I do have it, and if I don't, I'm not good there. So, obviously, this player, he was definitely very aggressive for having the exact same cards as me. A top pair, but a very wet board. Someone could have a straight flush draw, someone could already have the flush. I have top pair here. This is one of those examples where even as top pair, I only really limped because I was big blind. I'm only in it because I'm big blind. This is 2 times the size of the pot. I have top pair. Beginners would maybe call this, but this is one where as someone who has played poker for a long time, you definitely know you need to fold this. Even if it's a bluff, oh aces, even if it's a bluff, it's not worth finding out. I don't like how this is going around limped. I'm gonna raise it slightly, not too much that people fold. Oh, this is something you definitely want to run into when you have aces. Let's see. We want to make him shove, but we do not want him to fold. We want to make him go all for us. I'm gonna make it seem like a bluff, because I do want him to call. Pretty sure I'm good here. There's no way. Okay. Yeah, the value in... I have no idea why you would have raised that strongly with those cards. But the value in trying to make it seem like a bluff is that if you do want them to call, if you make your story unreliable, you make it seem like a bluff, they are more likely to call. That was obviously a huge whale. I have no idea why. I have no idea why he was raising like that. Dealer position, king jack suited. I'm just gonna call this. Could make the argument of raising. A backdoor to flush draw, 2 overpairs. No. He's playing like he has a higher pair. I do believe him. Not a good find. Not a good flop. I have the inside straight draw. 16 point. With the inside straight draw, you want 5-1 odds. Odds aren't good enough for me. It's like more 3-1, 4-1. And especially if any ace queen beats you, he has queens. My only out would have been 10. So I have no idea why ace jack is calling all in there. Okay. I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna leave now. That was it, guys, for today's video. I hope you liked it, you enjoyed it, and if you do, please make sure to leave a like, comment on your thoughts about what I've explained. If you have any questions, please do leave a comment, and remember to subscribe. And I think this is a good place to end it off. 65k plus today, heavily outweighing the negative 12k minus yesterday, showing how poker has ups and downs, but at the end it's about the profit that you gain at the end of the day. And that was it, guys. Thank you.